everybody, this is Walt.
This is Max.
And you are listening to our podcast on dystopian cinema.
We are, as always, Useless Info Inc., and today we are covering the movie Doomsday, directed by Neil Marshall from 2008. This is a new movie, Walt. It's only 10 years old.
I know. Yeah,
most of our movies are like older than our listeners.
Yeah.
All of them combined.
Right.
You know?
God,
We've got two listeners. They're 15 years old each. Yeah.
What does that say about us?
Well,
stunted
I don't
growth,
want to
maybe.
think about it. Yeah. All right. So let's do a quick summary on this one.
As always.
So, okay, it is 2035, right?
I believe so.
Yes. This is 30 years after a virus has hit Scotland. And
Scotland
has been walled off by a wall that just happens to follow the line of Hadrian's ancient Roman wall. And basically they think that everyone there has died. The rest of Britain has been taken over by sort of a quasi-fascist government.
Very true, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But then people start dying in London due to this virus.
Right.
So it's time to send somebody into Scotland and try to get that cure that might be there because they see some people on satellite, right?
On satellite. And it's the Reaper virus, right?
It's the Reaper virus, which is a pretty cool name for a virus.
If you're going to have a deadly virus name, Reaper is right up there.
Yeah. I wonder if we're ever going to have a virus that's good enough to be called Reaper.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's usually letters and numbers.
Yeah,
or,
yeah. Zika, that's not too cool.
That sounds like a weird wine cooler.
Yeah.
A Zika. I'll have a Zika.
A Zika, a Zima, what do you want?
It was Zima, right. That's what it was.
So they choose their best person, Sinclair, right?
Eden Sinclair,
played by Rona Mitra, and she is with the Department of Domestic Security or something like that, the DDS.
Say that fast 5 times.
Yeah, exactly. Homeland Security, basically. She's got her team, and she goes in beyond the wall in a couple of ATVs with some people, and they get attacked big time. They get taken by basically the cast from the Warriors, right?
Yeah, from the Warriors and Roadrunner.
Yeah.
They had a car crash.
Yeah, Roadrunner.
Road Warrior.
No, that's a better movie, actually.
That would be great.
The cast of Roadrunner and the Warriors.
A giant gang of Roadrunners and Wile E. Coyotes.
Yep.
Yeah, now I want to make that movie.
Yeah. So they get captured. A bunch of them get killed. One of them gets cooked and eaten. That's always fun. And then Sinclair escapes. She meets Callie, who is the daughter of Dr. Kane, who's the guy they're there to try to find because they think he may have found the cure for the virus, right?
Well, he was supposed to be working
something
on it
like
or
that.
something along those lines. It's a little vague.
It's a little vague, yeah.
And the guy that gets cooked, that's Sean Pertwee, who is also in Dog Soldiers, another Neil Marshall film.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
So a little side note.
Yeah.
Little side note before we get to the side notes.
Side notes. There are going to be more side notes. So they get on a train and they go to Ren Fair or Medieval World.
Right. It's like a medieval festival.
Yeah. They're in a castle and they meet Malcolm McDowell, who plays Dr. Kane, and she's got to fight a knight because, of course.
Right, because why not?
Yeah, and they escape that situation with Callie, the daughter, again, and then the Road Warrior happens.
Right, basically.
Yeah, they get in a Bentley. 2005.
They find a pristine Bentley underground.
Yes.
That runs.
Road Warrior happens, and meanwhile, back in London, the Prime Minister is killed by a guy who's got the virus, so his head of security, Canaris, kind of takes over.
Right.
So he shows up in Scotland, finds Sinclair and says, okay, have you found the cure? And she's like, well, this Callie woman, she is immune, so use her blood.
Right.
Like a Mega Man, basically.
Right, basically, yeah. To make a serum, yeah.
Yes, but she's got and Canaris is basically like I'm the bad guy in this situation, and I'm going to let a bunch of people die before I bring up this whole cure thing.
Right.
Because London's crowded, and we got to have a culling of the herd or something.
Right. They're going to use it as some sort of population control.
Some evil thing like that. But what he doesn't know is she's got a little video camera in her false eye, right?
Rona Mitra's character. Eden.
Yeah. So she's got evidence on him, which she gives to Bob Hoskins. Canaris is probably going to get taken down, but Sinclair can't go back there, so she goes home to her actual home because she's from Scotland.
From Scotland, right.
And then she ends up taking control of the tribe of the Warriors, right?
The Turnbull ACs, basically, from the Warriors.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it, right?
Pretty much it, yeah. She brings the head of Saul,
Yeah.
who's also the son of Cain.
Yes, he's the son of Cain. Callie is the daughter of Cain.
Yeah.
And
it's a family affair.
It's an interesting family, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, she brings the head, and she takes over the gang at the end.
She takes over the gang, yeah.
She takes leadership of the Turnbull-Aces.
In film.
Right. Which is pretty much, it's like wham bang.
So, well, there's a reason why I picked this movie.
The reason being?
It is influenced by a lot of the movies that we've already done.
Oh, yes.
So I want to play a fun game.
There's way too many.
It's called Spot the Reference. I shall go first.
Okay.
A lot of this electronic soundtrack sounds a lot like Escape from New York.
Escape from New York. Even, if I may say, the titles are John Carpenter's font. Kind of a subliminal.
Very nice pickup. Yeah.
You know, as soon as I saw it, the very first time I saw it, and the same thing with The Descent, he uses the font that Carpenter uses in almost all of his films.
Yep.
So, very Escape from New York.
Yep.
I mean, the electronic mapping in the beginning of what's happening in Scotland.
Yeah, that's just straight out of the whole containment wall.
Yeah.
And even when they show 2035 on the screen, now.
Yeah,
just like 1992 now, Escape from New York.
Yeah.
Yes. Another one.
Well, the Patch.
Patch,
Eden,
of course.
You know,
yes,
she's got the robot eye.
Yes.
You know, which is kind of a cool little twist on it. If you're going to do something with it, I thought that was a cool little twist.
Yeah. And they basically do the thing, well, instead of switching the tapes or whatever, there is some sort of thing where she manages to, like kind of subvert the situation, like Pliskin did.
Like you were saying in the synopsis, she records them.
Yes. There are characters named Miller and Carpenter.
Right.
Neil Marshall paying homage, just like Carpenter had characters named Cronenberg and Romero. Right. Escape from New York, right?
Right.
You got one?
Well, the all-terrain vehicles that they drive.
Yes.
Both from, I think, taken from Aliens and Damnation Alley.
I thought Damnation Alley.
That was my first one.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of scenes, action sequences with them that really straight up reminded me of Aliens.
Okay.
You know, when the Marines are going in and the way it was shot and the whole nine.
So the tribe are like the Warriors, and that bus
the
is
Turnbull
full on
ACs,
Warriors, right?
Yes, the Turnbull ACs, man, when they're chasing them under the L.
Yeah.
In the Warriors. The one thing I gotta say real fast though is that Marshall makes no bones about wanting to homage these movies.
We're gonna get to that.
Okay, all right.
Let's keep going with these first.
All right, I jumped the gun. Okay, all right, I jumped the gun.
Let's keep going.
All right.
Okay, so to me, when they're in the ATVs and they listen to Kane's voice and recording,
right,
that's Apocalypse Now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what? You got me on that one.
That's Kurtz going.
Yeah.
I watched a snail slipping on the edge of a straight razor. You know?
Right,
and they're in the vehicles, and it's like, never get out of the boat. Right. Things going on. And it kind of comes around at the end, where, he's killed Kurtz, and he's sort of like, before the whole tribe over there. That's kind of like this ending a little bit.
Very true, very true. I missed that one. That's a good one.
You give me one.
Oh, man, I'm trying to think. I know I wrote
Did you not write these down?
I know, that's the thing. And I'm looking through my notes like like, what the hell? Oh, man.
Okay. So
also when they get to the basement, first get over the wall in Glasgow. Very Dawn of the Dead for me. Romero's Dawn of the Dead, especially the way they start popping up and the whole thing. It's almost taken from that scene in the building when they raid the building.
Okay. Right. Right. Yeah.
He lit it darker than Romero did in Dawn of the Dead. It was very bright.
Okay.
But yeah, that full on reminded me of Dawn of the Dead.
Okay. I can see that.
That scene when they were cleaning out the basement.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Cool. So as we mentioned, the big car chase is basically the Road Warrior.
It's basically the Road Warrior.
But before that, a police car shows up and chases them.
Right.
That's an MFP vehicle.
It's that's
Mad Max.
Yeah.
First he does Mad Max.
Yep.
An MFP vehicle chasing a black car.
The last of the V8 Interceptors. yeah.
And then it's full on Road Warrior, right?
Right. When he's chasing the toe cutter.
Yeah. Even and bits of that whole of the Road Warrior. It doesn't like a...
No, it's not, I'm sorry. I got to correct that.
Yeah.
I really got to correct that for a second.
Well, it's Knight Rider.
It's a Knight Rider.
Yeah. When Max... it's just like...
In the very beginning.
Yeah, so the bad guys in the MFP vehicle and the...
Yeah.
And then a motorcyclist like hatchets the window.
Yeah.
Just like Mad Max.
Mad Max, yeah.
Yeah.
And basically Saul is Wes from the Road Warrior.
He's totally Wes.
You know,
He's totally Wes. Yeah.
just he can speak.
Yeah. He's more
eloquently,
he's more,
so to
more
speak.
coherent.
Yeah.
At the end, the doctor, when Canaris gets them, the doctor says to him, "A lot of good people died for this," just like Snake says
Escape.
to the president at the end of Escape. Right?
Yeah. I was wondering how you felt about that.
You got any more?
Man.
I'm running low, but I mean,
Keep going.
No,
There's so many.
I don't think I've got any more. I mean, basically, to me, the biggest overall ones are Escape from New York. I mean, the overall setup, obviously.
Right.
She's going over the wall. She's got to do a thing and come back.
Right.
With something, right?
Right.
And Road Warrior with a lot of the aesthetic and
Right.
car chase and stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, with the medieval stuff, you kind of have Excalibur. And I know he had
That's
mentioned
right.
that he's a
Yeah,
fan of
yeah.
Excalibur.
Yeah.
A little Lord of the Rings-ish, but, you know,
Yeah.
at points. But yeah, so you got that with the medieval stuff. A little bit of Army of Darkness even, you know.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
With just the
Hadn't
way the
thought about
castle
that.
looked and, you know,
Yeah.
they bringing them in chains by the neck shackles.
Yeah. Okay.
Army of Darkness opens with being brought into the castle with neck shackles on.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's so many films that he references.
So many things. Yeah.
But yeah, well, of course, once again, you can't have a dystopian film without the hero facing some giant opponent in an arena type
You need
scenario.
Thunderdome.
Yeah,
There's got to be a Thunderdome moment.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's got to be right there. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Although I think it was kind of a fake out because I also thought Thunderdome was going to happen when the Warriors gang grabbed
Right,
him.
right.
You know, it's like it's all kind of set up, but no, it only happens later.
Yeah, it happens later on, right? Yeah, they're basically because they're cannibals.
Yeah.
They just want to cook them and eat them, like he says.
That's all
you
they
know?
want to do. Yeah.
We're going to cook them and we're going to eat them. You know? But in that scene, which is playing right now in the background with the Fine Young Cannibals, Good Thing,
Yeah.
which is kind of a funny little,
That's that's
You know.
definitely an inside. Yeah.
little tongue in cheek.
And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the Adamant song Dog Eat Dog?
That's in this too. In this,
Right?
yeah,
It's in this scene.
it's in this
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
And also Susie and the Banshees.
Spellbound.
Spellbound is in
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And there's even a Frankie Goes to Hollywood song.
Later on, Two Tribes Go to War.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's it. Yep.
And that's during the chase.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So this kind of brings me to my next discussion thing. One thing I was thinking of watching this movie: when is an homage a ripoff? What's the difference between the two, and what do you think's going on in this movie?
Well, I know Neil Marshall has said that he really wanted to make this movie as a big homage to the films that he saw growing up.
Same ones we saw
That
when
he
we were
loved.
growing up.
Right.
It's like he was influenced by the same movies that we were.
It was a passion project for
Yeah.
him.
Absolutely.
After the success of The Descent, he had the money to make this movie,
Mm-hmm.
which I think cost something like double, triple
3 times the cost of Dog Soldiers and Descent combined.
combined, right?
Yeah, so
that's insane.
Big money on
Yeah.
this one. Yeah.
And they actually built all-terrain vehicles.
Yeah.
Did you see that in the thing, in
Yeah.
the commentary?
It's-
And
yeah.
I looked at the behind the scenes on the DVD, and I was like, wow, they built those from scratch instead of going and buying them because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
For them to build them themselves, and it's all real, like bulletproof glass and all this stuff. And,
They shot in Glasgow. They shot in South Africa.
South Africa
Most
as
of
well.
yeah.
and you can tell with
landscape.
certain road signs. Here
Yeah,
and there,
exactly.
you can pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not quite Scotland. Okay.
Not quite Scotland.
Yeah, most of it plays like homage, but there are certain moments.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
what was one for you?
Well, like I said, the Escape from New York factor is huge in this. And I remember when I first watched it, I was like, oh, come on, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I got into it. He kind of wins you over because
Okay.
if you look at it as just fun, a fun film,
Okay, when did you feel won over?
it wasn't until maybe the middle.
Okay.
Maybe
being
by
around
Act 2, around Act 2. for me.
Medieval World, or?
Yeah, that's the end of Act 2, right? That's about the
Yeah, I
end
guess
of
so.
Act 2.
Yeah. So, Act 2, I think, is probably when they're in Scotland, and it's true, yeah.
Because I felt like he was just throwing everything in there. And then I
Yeah.
kind of said, okay, I get what you're going for. And
Okay.
you just kind of go along with him for the ride.
You kind of
little.
have to, otherwise it's not going to work.
You're not going
for
to
you.
finish the film.
Yeah.
You're not going to finish watching it.
The times when it felt more like a ripoff to me is, okay, during the Road Warrior chase.
Whoa.
There's a moment when, okay, she's got cars on either side of her.
Uh-huh.
One guy comes up with a crossbow. She does a thing where she slams on the brakes.
And he
The arrow
shoots-
hits the person on the other side.
Which is already...
Which is the exact trick Mad Max used at the beginning of Road Warrior. That, to me, it just felt lazy.
Right.
It's like, you've got a great setup, you've got all these cars, like, come up with something that I didn't see in the Road Warrior.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Use your imagination. It's one thing, like, okay, the setup, sure, fine, that's homage.
Right.
But come up with new stuff.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
I mean, you can do a lot of shit with people in crazy cars trying to kill each other.
Of course, yeah.
just
But
it felt
I don't know,
off to
though.
me. It felt off to me.
Miller's got the fucking market on that, though. He's done it all. So
Well, to me, if you're gonna, he came out with more shit for Mad Max 3 Road. Remember that?
Well, because that's him. That's Miller.
Yeah. But if you're gonna do it, do it.
Right.
Like, make it original. Do something I haven't seen before. You know what I mean?
And that was Saul's already decapitated girlfriend that he
Yeah,
kept
it was
her head. Viper.
Yeah.
Who looked great in the movie with the tattoos.
She
had
looks
that menacing
amazing.
smile.
She looks
and all that.
amazing. Yeah.
I liked her better than Saul, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought she should have been the leader of the gang because she just had this menacing quality. Sadistic, menacing.
I looked up her credits. Apparently, she's not really an actress.
Oh, really?
She's had small roles, but apparently she's more like visual.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can kind of see that in this film, especially. Yeah, you can see that in this film.
Yeah, there are a lot of moments where it just didn't. How many movies is this? It's like a lot.
Well, we already counted what? We got Escape. We referenced Aliens, Damnation Alley, Road Warrior, Mad Max, Dawn of the Dead.
It just feels like there's a lot of things crammed in.
Yeah.
And
it's everything in the kitchen
I've
sink.
seen this 3 times now, and every time we get to medieval world, it's jarring to me.
Yeah.
Even if I know it's coming, it's like, what the hell? And then with Road Warrior again, it's another. Like, I can kind of buy that all these things exist in Scotland,
right?
But something about the way it's done just takes me out of it. It just feels like, okay, from what I understand, according to the commentary track, that moment when they first meet the knight Telamon on the horse,
yeah,
and when the soldier's facing off against him,
right?
That was the image that inspired Neil Marshall to make this movie.
Really?
He wanted to have like futuristic soldiers battle medieval knights.
Okay.
And which is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a cool image, right?
Yeah, sure.
And first he thought, well, I can do time travel, but then he came up with this concept because apparently he had grown up near Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is really cool. I think it comes from a real place.
Right.
But of course he started out the medieval thing, but then he went all these other places with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It just it feels a little overstuffed to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's everything is in there.
Everything is in there. Yeah.
If I may be so bold to say this,
be bold.
It is not a discredit to Neil Marshall at all. But when you really look at it on paper, this must have read like a 14-year-old kid wrote it. Like, and I'm gonna have a knight, and I'm gonna have a Bentley in it, and I'm gonna have it's just everything they could possibly think of happening at once.
We should clarify that we love Neil Marshall.
We do very much. We love his films.
I love The Descent.
The Descent
really
is
like
great.
Centurion.
I've never seen that one. I gotta watch it.
Really?
I gotta watch the Centurion.
Wait, we never talked about Centurion?
Nope.
Oh,
nope.
wow. Okay. It deserves a rewatch.
Yeah.
So maybe we gotta get some time. But I remember liking it more than this one. And it's interesting that it's a similar concept.
It's another passion project.
Going beyond the wall in Scotland, basically.
Right.
Except in old Roman times.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Game of Thrones fans, I know you're not one of these, Walt.
No, sorry.
Should know Neil Marshall's name because he directed 2 of the most epic episodes of that show. First one being the Battle of Blackwater, this siege of this castle while a naval battle is going on at the same time. And he directed another one which is even more epic, the first battle for the Wall, where the...
I've heard of it. I know of it.
Yeah. I mean, these episodes are incredible. The scope that he brings to what is a TV episode blew me away at the time. And he himself said that what he had to do for these episodes was more involved than anything he had done for film.
Really?
So he is an incredible director. He really knows what he's doing. But my feeling on this one, okay, so there's a thing that happens with directors sometimes, right? You do your independent movies, you don't have a lot of money, but you do a good job at it. Your technique is solid.
Right.
You deliver some good movies.
And also you learn to work with less.
Yes, exactly.
When you're hungry.
Exactly.
And
that's where I'm going
your
with
first
this.
couple of films.
That's where I'm going with this. So someone throws a lot of money at you.
Right.
Dude, you can make movies. Here, go to town, make a movie. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to make a movie. I can do all this shit that I've always wanted to do.
Right.
And your tendency is kind of like, they will never give me this much money again.
Right.
So I better do everything I've always wanted to do in this one movie. And I feel like that's what he did.
Yeah, let me dust off this script that I wrote when I was Young and Hungry, and everybody turned it down.
It's like...
Because he also wrote
yeah,
this film.
Yeah. It's like if you're going to be executed and they're giving you a last meal, you're going to be like, oh, it's my final meal. I'm going to have
8 courses.
lobster,
Yes.
sushi, grilled octopus. I'm going to have all... And you're not going to finish it, and you're going to be sick afterwards. You're going to want to die.
Yeah, right.
This is how it kind of feels to me. Like he just stuffed everything in here.
Yeah, it is everything in the, like I said before, it's everything in the kitchen sink, you know, seriously.
So there are certain scenes that the scene where they kill and eat the guy.
Right.
That scene goes on a long time.
Yeah.
And the only thing that happens is a red shirt dies.
Right.
Basically.
Right.
I mean, he's not a major character.
Right.
That is literally the only thing that happens.
Yep.
If you didn't have a lot of money, you'd be like, okay, I'd love to do this, but I don't have the money, and this scene doesn't contribute to the story. I have to take it out. I can't do it.
Right.
If you got the money, it's like, I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to have all this music, and I'm going to have all 100 extras and all this kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you have to think within your means.
Right.
But if you have all this money thrown at you for the first time ever, you have a tendency, and this has happened to so many good directors.
Right.
You know,
right.
I'm not criticizing Neil Marshall for this. It's just, I mean, it happened to me.
Sure.
It happened to any one of us.
Right.
I mean, if you got a huge record contract,
forget about it.
You would like contract London Symphony Orchestra and all this kind of shit.
Yeah,
You'd
you
have
would
all
do
this, yeah.
Even if you didn't use it, just to just to mess
hang out.
with it.
Yeah. So I don't blame him for this. I love his reach on this, but I mean, I guess I'm doing kind of like my assessment of it.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like it works.
Okay. Yeah. See, like I said, I kind of look at it like it's just a fun film. You know, it's a fun B movie with an A budget is what it is. And if you can look at it that way and see it for what it is, you'll enjoy it. If you're going to pick it apart, you're going to hate it. You're going to hate it because it takes from so many other films that we just described. One other little side note. The soldier that gets cooked and eaten, Sean Pertwee, who we had mentioned before. He's that guy in every movie always having a bad day, that actor.
Yeah.
Every character he plays winds up dying on screen.
Yeah.
I mean, he killed him off also in Dog Soldiers. Mm-hmm. You know, he's always getting offed in films.
Okay, so agreed it's a fun film, but let me ask you this. Is The Road Warrior a fun film?
The Road Warrior is a hell of a lot more serious than Doomsday.
It
hell
is,
of a
but
lot more serious.
Is it fun at times?
It's fun at times, of course,
Yeah.
But it is just so much more serious than Doomsday. Doomsday, like I said, I look at Doomsday like a B movie with an A budget. It wears its influences on its sleeve. It's a popcorn film, really.
My thing is, if he is explicitly referencing these other movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you do that, you are inviting comparison. And if you suffer from comparison, it's nobody's fault but your own.
True.
You know? I mean,
well, see, maybe it's one of those films that he made for himself, kind of. It does kind of feel that way sometimes, now that I've seen it a few times. Mm-hmm. Same thing, I've only seen it 3 times.
Sure.
And this last time that I watched it, it really felt like this is his movie. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, he wanted to make it passion project.
Well, Spielberg made Raiders of the Lost Ark as a kind of movie that he would enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, based on the serials that he grew up with. Yeah.
But everybody loves that movie.
Right.
Because it's... I feel like he's...
And that's kind of unfair. We should not compare him with...
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
All right, if you want to walk in Miller's shoes and, you know,
exactly.
or Carpenter's shoes...
If you're going to do that kind of thing, then you're going to... And there are things that he's trying to do here that seem to go nowhere. Okay, we talked about the family relationships, right?
Right.
Callie is the sister of Saul. They're both the sons and daughters of Dr. Kane. And it's almost like a King Lear situation or something like that. But it literally goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, does the fact that they're all related have any bearing on the story?
Not really.
No, not at all.
No.
It's like he's trying to do something with that, but he doesn't do anything with it. So why even have that as a part of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like he's trying to do...
Well, once again, the Star Wars factor. You know, maybe trying to just throw it in there.
Yeah, but Star Wars did something with it.
Yeah, of course it did.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Maybe it's like, another little homage that he's doing, you know?
Maybe.
Homage to...
It feels the word I keep coming with is overstuffed, crammed in there that don't quite work together.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And there's no conclusion.
Yeah, not
Doesn't
really.
jibe.
No, I mean, there's...
I mean, the whole thing, too, was like, okay, so supposedly there's a cure to the virus.
Yeah.
Turns out there just isn't.
And why would they think there's a cure? I mean, there's people alive, but couldn't they just be immune?
Right, and that's basically what it is.
Didn't they see the Omega Man?
Right. Right.
Because that's what we learned from that movie.
Right.
Use the blood as a vaccine.
Well, in the Omega Man, he did that experimental shot.
He did, yeah.
So,
and they decide that she has the immunity just because.
Just because,
It's not like they analyzed her or anything.
Right.
Just because it's got to end that way.
Yeah, start eating people.
Yeah,
Makes you immune to all sorts of viruses and plagues and vampirism.
He is Rona Mitra. I don't think she has a lot to do in this movie.
Yeah, no.
You know?
No.
And I think he tries to create a kind of character arc with her that almost works, but doesn't quite make it. You know what I mean? It's like she as we talked about, her mother died as they're trying to get over the wall.
Right.
And
that's why she lost her eye.
Yeah. And she's been like at the top of the the DDS team, whatever, and her whole thing is trying to get home.
Yeah.
And in the end, she literally does get home. She goes to her old house and sees like pictures of her mother. That's where Bob Haskins finds her.
Right.
And then it's like because she knows Canaris is going to come for her, she needs an army. So she gets to these other people.
Right.
It's kind of like she was born there in that chaos,
right?
In that whole scene where everyone's trying to get over the wall, and chaos has always been a part of her,
right?
Because she takes the roughest missions, right?
Right.
She's always been that person, like live on the edge,
yeah.
And now she has the ultimate opportunity to do so, when she's going to just be with that tribe. So there is something thematic there that's interesting,
right?
But I just don't. I feel like it's a little bit half baked. Like I feel like I'm putting more into it than was actually there.
Right. It's just supposed to be this
it.
inherent badass sort of thing that she just always had it in her because of whatever. And by the way, that scene is kind of 28 days later.
It's totally that.
Yeah. So that's another one.
Yeah.
So what are we up to? Like 10 different films at this point or something?
I
can't even. I lost count.
I mean, things that I like. I do love that prologue.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an incredible scene.
Right.
Where they're all trying to get through, and the wall is literally being built at that moment.
Right.
There's a great desperation there.
Right.
That was really it completely drew me into the movie.
And Malcolm McDowell does the narration.
Yes. Yeah. Which is really cool.
He's got that great voice.
Bob Hoskins is the MVP of this movie, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, just for the line, "If this is a balking, make it quick."
Yeah. Right.
And he's kind of Lee Van Cleef this movie. Mm-hmm. I think that's why.
Oh, absolutely. I'll go with that. Yeah.
Long Good Friday is probably my favorite movie with him in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
I have not.
80s era British gangster flick.
Oh, I know of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it.
It's really, really good.
I got to check that out.
He is like, I mean, if you've only...
Well, isn't this the film that put him kind of on the map?
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, listeners and everybody, if you only know him from Who Framed Roger Rabbit...
You're missing out.
See Long Good Friday. It is seriously good.
I got to check that out.
Yeah, it's excellent. Yeah, there are a lot of... Well, this is the thing. There are a lot of things that I like about it. And I'm set up to like it. Because as I keep saying, I love these movies.
These are the movies that it's referencing. Yeah.
It's like, okay, I like Italian food. I love Indonesian food. So theoretically, if you fuse the two together, I should like it.
Right.
But I'm probably not going to like Indonesian fusion with Italian food, right?
Yeah, right.
And that's kind of what this is.
Right. No, absolutely.
You know, like, I mean, maybe if you get the right chef doing it, I might end up liking it.
Right.
But chef kind of blew this one.
Chef shit the bed. No, like I said,
it frustrates me because I so want to like it.
You're in it.
When I really, really want to like a movie.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating to me if the
When
movie,
it
like, I'm willing to
disappoints.
meet it more than halfway, and it doesn't get there for me.
I got you.
Like, I get more upset when I really, really want to like a movie, and there are a lot of things I like about it,
right,
than when I have nothing invested in a movie initially. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Yeah.
See, for me, this is one of those movies where I can kind of just sit back and just watch it and go, you know, it was good.
It is kind of enjoyable.
And I'm
it's
fine
enjoyable.
with that.
I mean, like, individual stuff in here I really like.
But there are other movies I've seen that have done the same thing that Doomsday is doing, and I've hated them.
Give me an example.
Lockout.
Oh yeah.
Guy
That
Pearce.
was I mean, that was literally sued.
Yeah,
for
sued.
being too much like Escape from New York. Yeah.
He sued and won.
Yeah,
he won.
in France, right?
Yeah.
Because
Because Luc Besson was a producer on it.
Yeah, because the copyright laws are a little bit different there. So yeah.
Yeah, and I hated that movie.
It's not a good movie.
I hated it.
It's not a good movie. Yeah, yeah. Any other examples of that?
I mean, there were so many knockoffs of The Road Warrior in the 80s and, straight to video.
Yeah, which didn't have anybody competent doing them. They're just like, they're money grabs.
Yeah, yeah.
This is done by a competent person with really good intentions.
And that is a decent film. He's a good filmmaker
He's
with
a
his
great
previous
filmmaker.
efforts.
He absolutely
his
is
previous
a great
films.
film. And that's, again, all
Shouldn't
these
say
things,
efforts, but
all these things are things that frustrate me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about it. I get you. No, I get you. I guess I'm just not as stressed about it as you. I'm not stressing about
I
it.
vest my ass emotionally in movies.
Well, I mean, also, because he's such a competent director, the look of it is just great, too.
The look is amazing.
I mean, I have one pet peeve with it.
Yeah.
There are so many cuts.
Oh, I hate the editing.
The editing is just all over the place.
This was that era of editing, of action film editing, that I just despise.
Yeah, where it's every
It's horrible. Yeah.
5-10 seconds is a cut, especially during an action
You
sequence.
can't follow the action sequences.
You start
know?
losing your place. You don't know what's happening.
You compare this to what Miller did with Mad Max Fury Road, where there are a lot of cuts,
Yeah.
but there's a rhythm to it. You
Exactly.
can follow it. It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
And he also
This,
has his long shots
yeah.
in between the
Yeah.
cut shots, the shots that are,
Yeah.
chopped.
At times, it's like a Bentley ad.
Yeah, no pun intended with this, right?
Yeah.
Because that felt like product placement, for real.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it actually wasn't, because they had to buy those.
Really?
Yeah, I think originally he wanted to do Aston Martin because of James Bond.
Of course, James
like,
Bond,
hey,
right.
why not throw another reference in there, right?
Right.
But they couldn't get that, and I think, Bentley wouldn't provide any, so they had to buy
Oh,
3
shit.
Bentleys.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean... This,
To wreck
yeah.
'em.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
When they drive it through the bus.
Yep.
And that's another scene that was a great stunt.
Yeah.
It's a great stunt.
It's a great stunt, absolutely.
And you wouldn't know that it's also enhanced by CGI.
Yeah, no, the CGI is done
And they
very
would with
nicely.
models too.
Yep.
Which is that's a great. When I saw that the behind the scenes, I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's really great. The way the FX team put that
The
together.
craft in the film is really amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Max's Bits, right?
Max's Bits!
Thank you. I was waiting for the shout. Okay. So
Bits.
I always love world building, and I think this has some good stuff in it. Did you notice the DDS logo in the Millennium Dome?
No, I did not.
That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's kind of like a flyover over London.
Uh-huh.
And on the Millennium Dome, you see the DDS.
Oh, that's
so
right.
it's
Right.
It's, like it's been
Yeah,
converted into DDS headquarters. or
Right.
something, you know.
Wow.
There's other little things during that London scene. There's when they're like driving through what is I haven't been to London in a long time. It looks like Piccadilly Circus, but it's probably not. It's just like there's all these ads around it, like video kind of ads and stuff, right?
Right.
And there's one bit it almost looks like propaganda from Starship Troopers. Like there's like a soldier, it's like be your best.
Yeah.
You know, it's got that little element. And there's a for sale sign on St. Paul's Cathedral.
Yeah,
like
that's
the
right.
government is just like destitute. That I thought was cool. I like the way that parts of like the Britain world kind of correspond to the medieval world. Like London's surrounded by canals, like kind of like a moat.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
and when they suit up, it's kind of like they're putting on armor.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, yeah.
You know, there's like little correspondences that I think were intentional and pretty cool. There's again, as with Escape from New York, there's essentially a fascist government in charge. And there's a moment when Canara says, with a lie this big, we can get away with anything we want.
Yeah, which is pretty deep.
It comes from Mein Kampf.
Yeah.
Written by Adolf Hitler, of course.
Oh, my gosh.
Taken up by a man named Joseph Goebbels. Basically, the idea is let's lie really big, and we can just get away with it.
And people will think it's true.
Which has been a credo.
If you stand behind a lie.
A credo of fascist governments all over the place. So I thought that was a cool little reference.
Yeah.
A lot of little things like that I thought were very, very
Well,
cool.
in dystopian cinema, you got to have that factor out there somewhere, somehow.
Yeah.
It has to be the overlying kind of umbrella to the whole story. You know, the overstory, so to speak, or if that's even fucking a word.
It is now.
I just all right. Copyright.
I give you poetic license. You got any bits?
Let me think. Well, what about the fact that, of course, England and Scotland's sordid history,
Yeah.
that they wall off Scotland to contain a disease.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, snap, you can't get away with that, right? In a movie, can you? What's Scotland going to say? You know?
Oh, yeah. No, that's interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because
So-
they're kind of voting to get out.
Yeah.
They're almost there, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, they're moving slowly towards independence
Yep.
still.
Yeah.
But
no, that's interesting. Yeah, I never thought about that. I wonder how it was received in Scotland. I don't know.
I did read up on that.
Yeah?
They
Glad somebody
actually
did.
contributed some money to the film, hoping that it would boost tourism in Scotland.
So based on this, I would want to go to Glasgow.
Yeah.
Because it
Beautiful.
looks...
It's beautiful.
It is torn apart, and and inhabited by cannibals. Yeah. Okay. All right. I can. Yeah. Sure.
I can get down with some cannibals.
Yeah. Visit Glasgow today. Okay.
That's the other question. If you were in this dystopian future, would you go cannibal?
Dude, Scotland is crawling with cows. Okay.
Well, okay.
I mean,
they're
they
all
established
wiped
that.
out.
No,
that's right.
It's
yeah.
full of cows.
Right.
I'd be eating porterhouse every night. Why would I go cannibal? That's another thing. Like, why is that even happening?
I don't get it either. I guess just cause in the future you gotta,
I think it's just because he wanted that kind of thing going on.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. Yeah. All right. Duh.
All right. Got another bit?
No, I think I'm out of bits. Unless it.
You are a bit poor.
Bit less.
Bit less. All right. Let's wrap this up. What are your overall thoughts on this movie?
I enjoy it. I like it. Like I said, for me, it's a popcorn film. I don't take it so seriously, as seriously as you do.
As some people do.
Max, I really don't. I enjoy the fact that he is referencing some films that we love, and maybe it'll hit other people up to go and check out those films that he was influenced by.
Yeah, I hope so.
Paying homage to. But, I mean, could I highly recommend it? Not really. I would say it's fun. If it comes across your radar, check it out.
Would you only recommend it to people who know these other movies, or would you recommend it to anybody as a way to, like...
Would a gateway drug?
Yeah. Do you think it would appeal to just anybody like that?
No, I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't think it would appeal to just anybody. Even fans of the genre, I don't think it'll appeal to everyone across the board.
Okay.
Because of what we're talking about now. You either look at it like it's a fun throwback, bargain bin gold, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or you're going to hate it because of what it does. Like you were saying, some people will just not forgive some of the references. And won't be able to get over that, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Okay, so you think some people would just find it too much of a ripoff?
Yeah.
Because I keep going back and forth on that. Ultimately, I would not have minded all the references if the whole thing worked together.
As
a
film.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah. The references are cool.
Well, it does, I think it does suffer from the big budget when it comes to that a little bit.
Okay.
Now you got timers. We gave you how much money?
Yeah.
When is it going to be done?
Yeah.
You got to be on time. You got to get this movie in the
3
can.
Bentleys, really?
Yeah, right.
$150K a pop, 3 Bentleys, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and investors and all that,
Yeah.
people that plunk down the money for it. I'm sure Scotland was like, okay, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, what's up with our money?
Yeah.
I think they gave them something like 300 grand.
It was something really...
300,000 pounds or something.
It's got to be more than that.
Something like that. I can't remember exactly.
I mean, that's nothing in 2008.
I don't remember.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't remember either. But I do remember that statistic. It was like 3 times.
Yeah.
The first 2. So it's it's a lot of money. I do think it looks more than the budget because I think he can do that.
Yeah.
I think he's just got skills to do that.
I hate to say it, I went the other way.
Yeah.
I thought that he made it on a shoestring because of his previous films.
Okay, yeah.
And just made it look good.
I think he did do that to a large extent, yeah.
But there's still money involved in that, Like you said, building those all-terrain vehicles and all the stunt work involved.
Yeah.
The crew was massive on this. They had a lot of people on this film.
Yeah.
With all the cameras. And it looked like they even wrecked a couple of cameras filming it.
Yeah.
Where you could kind of see it in the
got
film.
Blood on some of them. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I've kind of already stated how I feel about it. It's fun to watch. I've seen it 3 times. I'll probably watch it again sometime in a few years once I've forgotten how frustrated I am.
How frustrated it made you.
But yeah, it's got all the stuff that I like in it. I just ultimately doesn't hang together for me, and I just kind of want more out of this guy, whom I think is really talented.
A brilliant director,
yeah.
Oh, you got Rona Mitra running around kicking ass too.
Yeah, no, she's good.
Looking good doing it.
Yeah.
Good
stunt work. Yeah. All right, so suck ass factor, right? That's the next piece of business here.
It's not as bad as you really think it is per the film for me.
Yeah.
Also, it's like I said, it's popcorn, so I don't take it as seriously as other dystopian films.
You see how people are living in London, right?
Yeah.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
You'd rather be in Scotland in this.
You'd kind of rather be in Scotland in this,
You live in take over a castle.
I mean, yeah.
Take over a castle and get a giant knight to protect you.
Yeah.
So if I was in Scotland, I think I'd be okay as long as
that's assuming you survived the virus.
If I assume, if I survive the virus, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I wonder about this film too. Is it real? Is it in London? Is it in Scotland? Where is it really happening?
What do you mean?
I never really got exactly where it started. Mm-hmm. Maybe I missed that
the
watching
virus?
it. Yeah. Did it start in London,
I
or
thought
did
it started in Scotland?
It started in Scotland?
Yeah, and as far as anybody knew, it was isolated in Scotland, and then
That's why they built the wall.
Yeah, and then it just appeared in London for no reason.
No reason whatsoever.
Yeah,
right.
It just happened.
Right.
Yeah.
See, there are those holes,
exactly.
potholes.
That's
where I remember when I watched it again, I was like, "Well, wait a minute, where did it start?"
Yeah.
You know. So I guess if you're in London in this film, it's pretty sucky.
You're fucked.
Overpopulation and
it's interesting that this is it's almost prescient of Brexit.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
That's why it's a bad idea, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, because it seems like Britain is isolated from the rest of the world and doing their own thing. And
aren't they also a pariah nation because
they
of
are.
what they did?
Exactly. Yeah.
With Scotland.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Can't wall up Scotland, man.
Yeah. Where are you going to get your?
Where are you going to get your Scotch? That's our main concern.
Poo sources.
That's our main concern.
You know how we think. And your haggis.
Right. What is haggis?
Pretty good. I actually enjoy haggis.
Yeah. You've had it before? Yeah.
In Scotland, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
Legit,
Cool.
Yeah. So, okay, on the scale.
But one last thing I got to say about haggis.
Yeah.
I know so many.
I'm going to say a lot of things about haggis.
Haggis.
Don't get me started.
I know so many people that will stay away from organ meats.
Okay.
You know, so many, and even Irish friends that I've had, and Scottish friends, they're like, "Oh, really? You'd eat that shit?"
Yeah.
I'd lap that up like a hungry dog.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
So sorry to gross out our listeners, but you know, we're gonna get some haggis after this.
That's right. Yeah. And Scotch. On the scale, where'd you put it?
I'd say maybe 7.
Okay.
Maybe 7.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 6.
Yeah.
Around
Around there, right?
around
yeah.
there.
I'd say,
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're in Scotland, you living in a castle with knights and shit. You know, you're kind of reliving your medieval fantasies.
But it could be like feudal. I mean, you're a serf.
That would stink.
That would suck. Yeah.
But it seems like in a lot of these dystopian films that have these cliques and gangs, if you're part of a gang, you're kind of set for a little. You know, you're okay.
Yeah.
You know, because you're not being eaten or gunned down or tortured for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the dumb soldiers that have to go in and try to fight these gangs in these movies, they just get slaughtered, get their asses handed to them left and right. And like you said, meanwhile, they're fighting with spears and shit like this and crossbows. They've got automatic weapons, and they're still getting the shit kicked out of them. Yeah. Oh, and a lot of the guns that were used in this were actually from the South African military. Some of them were real guns,
right? Yeah,
that I read.
Interesting, okay.
And they look like futuristic weapons, which is wild.
That's cool. Okay,
I would never want to stare down the barrel of one of those, or even hold one. To be honest with you, I would just be so scared to hold a weapon like that. But they do look futuristic.
They do, yeah.
So, but that's 2008. Imagine what they look like now.
Yeah.
You know, with technology. But anyway, I had the side note on that.
Yeah. No. Cool. All right. One more piece of business. Do you have the ceremonial coin, Walt? Okay. Whose flip it is? Is it?
You flipped last time.
I flipped last time. Okay. It's your flip.
All right. Here we go.
Walt is flipping the coin.
What is this? The password is
tails.
It's tails.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Walt, at this point, we have done 2 foreign films. This one and The Road Warrior. But we have not done a foreign language film.
Uh-oh.
Are you up for reading some subtitles?
Of course.
Unless you know Japanese and you haven't told me. Because the film is Battle Royale! Oh, yes.
Nice. Good choice.
Yes, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. Yeah.
The classic.
Yep. Cool.
Now I consider a classic.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're going to take that one on next time. Got to do some housekeeping here because we're all over the place now.
Yeah.
So we've got the YouTube channel. We also have a website that is uselessinfoinc.wordpress.com, and that has links to the YouTube channel as well. But if you prefer going through a website, that's a good way to go. You can put comments or whatever. And also, if you want to download episodes, we've got The Future Sucks on Podomatic.com. Yeah, I think that's also uselessinfoinc. Something.
You think?
I should, yeah.
I
should know, yeah. We're also on Twitter, uselessinfoinco. That's our handle, because Useless Info Inc. was already taken. And
Got to
so
get
we're-
after those guys.
Yeah, so we're expanding. Hopefully by next time we'll be in more places. So you can tweet at us. You can put comments on YouTube, on the website, wherever you like. Send us emails, whatever. Just let us know you're out there. Give us some, tell us how you like the podcast. Maybe mention some movies you want us to do sometime.
Absolutely. Yeah, make suggestions.
Yeah, we are not above responding to fan requests.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
And
anything else?
You're saying we're expanding. If we keep drinking and eating during these podcasts, we're going to expand.
We are going to expand. Yes. We'll be
in
ready,
more ways than one.
Be ready to be slaughtered. Yeah, cannibalism is our future. Thank you for joining us, people. This has been The Future Sucks, a dystopian film podcast brought to you by Useless Info Inc. I am Max.
And I'm Walt.
Catch us next time.